But of course, for all the colour and noise, the characters, the invention, there was a dark side to the Industrial Revolution.
They drag a beast, a bull, 10 meters high.
And enraged by injustice, the bull.
Red Bull cult. Evidence of Satanism? Lately, in many major events in the world, many people feel the presence of hidden, devil worship, symbolism. For example, in the opening of the 2022 Commonwealth Games. For those of you who have watched it, guys, in the opening there is a Red Bull cult scenario that has been circulating on the internet for a long time and is believed to be the Baal Devil cult. That scene was widely shared by people who felt that the devil was no longer hiding, in fact, they showed their presence. Or the appearance of the Britain National Health Service 2012, or NHS at the 2012 Olympics, which many people found quite creepy. It starts with little children who are put to sleep in their beds. Then, there is a little child who is reading under her blanket, and while she is reading, suddenly strange creatures appear, like demons. Then, the children who are reading are suddenly woken up by a big figure like a demon. And, when I was watching this, there were lots of writings on the floor, which were believed to contain strange messages. And, the opening of the 2012 Olympics was also very busy, with many articles in the media, people posting, questioning the scary picture. The point is, there are some people who believe that in order to show their involvement, their power, and their influence on this world, the dark force will give clues, signs in the form of satanic symbols. Discussions about conspiracy theories like this always grab our attention. As you know, something similar also happened after the 2024 Olympic opening ceremony just passed in July 2024. This sports event, held every 4 years, was held in Paris, France, and the opening was lively, filled with the world's most famous celebrities, and also contributed to today's French culture and pop culture. Of course, there will be many eyes on the opening of the 2024 Olympic Games, especially the live broadcast. But after such a grand event took place, it was crazy, guys. The next day, all the footage uploaded by the official YouTube channel, The Olympics, were all taken down, because of the huge backlash, and the bad response from the audience. There were many incidents that became controversial, to the point of being labeled as real evidence of Satanism offerings. In the video, we will discuss the concept and also what ultimately led many to believe that this was evidence of satanic offerings. Because so much was said about it, that it caused the largest provider in the United States, C Spire, to drop all of their advertising from the Olympics. The following are scenes from the opening of the 2024 Paris Olympics, which have been widely discussed for their implied meanings. Before the opening ceremony of the Olympics took place, there was a torch relay event. One of the many artists who carried the Olympic torch was Snoop Dogg. From all the photos of Snoop Dogg at the event, people began to realize that he always wore a necklace shaped like a goat's head. This necklace was very similar to the shape of Baphomet. Because many people are asking about this, Snoop Dogg finally responded in this video. Check it out, guys.
I don't know what y'all thought this was, but this is the GOAT. I had this made because somebody told me I was the GOAT, so I wanted to make me a GOAT chain. All that other shit y'all talking about, I don't know what y'all talking about, but this is the GOAT. Greatest of all time. With a blue diamond on his head, gold. GOAT. That other shit y'all talking about, miss me with that bullshit. Dog is the GOAT, representing peace and love around the whole globe.
He said that he made the necklace because many people called him the GOAT, which is short for greatest of all time. But why is the GOAT shaped like that the one he wears? Do you believe him? One of the performances at the opening of the 2024 Olympics in Paris, which was opened by rock music, played by a heavy metal band named Gojira in a building. When this band was performing, guys, one of the things that caught our attention was, when we looked through one of the windows of the building, there was someone wearing a costume, like an ancient French queen. But this queen carried her own head. And this figure is considered to resemble Marie Antoinette, the last French queen before the French Revolution in the 18th century. As you know, in history, Marie Antoinette is described as a very rich queen. She loves luxurious foods, while at that time, her people were starving. She is described as being very detached from reality. When she knew that her people were short of food, starving, she could only say, "Why don't they just eat cake?" Because she was a noble person who didn't want to know about it. Finally, when the French Revolution happened, she was executed using a guillotine. And her head, separated from her body. We can conclude that the history of Marie Antoinette is actually a dark history of France. And although now, this is just a pop culture, but this is very inappropriate to be pointed at the Olympics. And this also has nothing to do with sports, with loud music played, plus a scene of someone being beheaded. Many say that this scene has a dark atmosphere from the beginning of the show. The next controversy comes in the scenario, this one. In this one show, it is seen, some people wearing costumes behind a long table. To be more specific, the people in this scenario, they are mostly seen as drag queens. And on this long table, there is a food cover that, when the cover is lifted, inside there is a French actor and singer, Philippe Catherine, who is lying on a large plate, surrounded by fruits and flowers. Most of his body is also naked, and his body is painted blue, and he appears while singing a song in French entitled, Nu, which means, naked. And behind him, the dancers and drag queens pose, and they dance along the table. After that, there was a controversy with this scene which turned out, conscious people considered this to have similarities with Leonardo da Vinci's painting, The Last Supper. The Last Supper is a famous work by Leonardo da Vinci, inspired by the last meal of Jesus Christ with his apostles. Well, of course, for Christians who feel that this is an insult, because this scene takes inspiration from The Last Supper and replaces the characters with drag queens. And what's even more surprising, it turns out, people also realized that one of the characters at the dinner table even showed a body part that came out of his pants.
Damn!
This is a live event, you know that. The controversy continued when the guy, it turned out, was standing next to a little girl. So you can imagine how big this controversy was.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Due to the magnitude of the controversy, the Olympics finally made a public statement, where they tweeted, including a photo of Philippe when he was on a large plate, and said that Philippe represented the Greek god, Dionysus. And in the caption, the Olympics wrote, "The interpretation of God Dionysus makes us aware of the absurdity of violence between human beings." And Thomas Jolly, artistic director of the Olympiad, added that the idea for this scenario was inspired by pagan festivals related to the Olympian gods. He also had no intention of manipulating anyone. And he said that it was not inspired by the Last Supper, but inspired by the festival of Dionysus. If you look at it, it is quite similar to the Last Supper. This explanation is considered less than satisfactory to the public because many still ask, why should there be a celebration of a community that is not related to sports? Why do many people think that this is a symbol of Satanism? Because apparently, there are some Satanists who say that this scene may be the result of a painting by a Dutch artist, Jan van Beegelert, called The Feast of the Gods, which can be seen in a French museum. The Manosphere, which also often discusses conspiracy theories, also commented and said that Satanists control the Western world and they show us all that they are devil worshippers. And finally, many people consider this scene, which includes the entire show event, disgusting, irrelevant, and a mockery of the devil. Next. Horse and representation of death. Still in the opening ceremony of the Olympics, there was a scene of a silver horse that appeared complete with a rider wearing silver armor. Honestly, when I saw it, I was amazed by this scene. The horse seemed to be running on a lake, sparkling because of the reflection of light. It's amazing, despite my historical ignorance. This horse is a representation of Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc is a French national hero who successfully won and led the 100-year war against England around 1429. Joan of Arc has a tragic story, because at the end of her life, she was burned, because she received many accusations. And one of the accusations was that she, who was believed by the church at that time, was a witch. Her body was then burned at the stake, and it is said that only her heart survived, then the ashes from her burning were taken and sprinkled on the Saint River. So, when this history has happened more than 100 years ago, people think about Joan of Arc again. Although she has been labeled as a witch, people also think she's cool too, a heroine who has fought for her country. Joan of Arc became the history of France, and her ashes were indeed scattered in the river, and as if she reappeared to be in the Olympics, she came back to life, and she was also considered a saint by the French. But people think that the relationship between Joan of Arc and the Olympics is not quite right because of her history. However, this depiction is quite related to other images. Because previously, people who saw it also wondered why under the Eiffel Tower there was a picture of large wings that were not related to the Olympics, and when this horse walked right in the middle, it seemed as if the horse had wings. Many people think that the horse, its rider with wings, represents a Bible verse, Revelation chapter 6 verse 8. And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Then the horse walked. Suddenly all the people carrying the Olympic flags representing the participating countries appeared walking behind the horse. And in Revelation chapter 13 verse 3 it says, "The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast." There is also a scene where several golden statues emerge from the river, and according to the Olympics, it is a form of respect for female figures who have made great contributions in France. In particular, Thomas Joly wanted to highlight 10 great women who have left their mark on French history, from the Middle Ages to the present day. Then the public responded and said that the concept of the emergence of women from the water is related to one of Sandro Botticelli's paintings, The Birth of Venus. Venus is a Roman goddess who symbolizes love, beauty, sex, fertility, and victory. In legend, she was born in an adult state and emerged from the water, from the ocean. Well, Venus itself means morning star, and morning star is the name given to Lucifer in the Vulgate Bible. And in her own story, the goddess Venus is told to carry out persecution, accusing, and also being a witch, and sometimes in league with the devil. And the last, guys, the most discussed, is the choice of artists, who are the performers at the Olympic opening ceremony. The famous artists are Lady Gaga, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg. Well, names that are familiar with conspiracy theory, which connects them: Illuminati, global elite, Satanism. The names that have never been escaped from the assumptions that associate them with Satanism and Illuminati. Do you think this has all to do with Satanism? Or is it just a coincidence? Or is it possible that the people behind it have been possessed by the devil who finally made all of this event without knowing the true meaning? What is certain, guys, maybe there is one thing that is proof of the real meaning, which is deliberately shown to us all, that there is indeed a great influence of Satanism in the world entertainment industry. What was clear was not long after the Olympic opening ceremony, most of the Paris city was hit by electricity. Many assume that this is proof of God angry. Although the official explanation is power failure in the city of Paris due to the continuous rain, there are also those who believe that this is the capture of God's hand. The only building that is still burning bright is the Basilique du Sacré-Cœur de Montmartre. What do you think, guys? Is this conspiracy theory mind-blowing? Or, this doesn't make sense? Or you think this is proof, concrete evidence from Satanism? Give your opinions in the comments. Enough of this video. If you like it, don't forget to press the like button and comment. Thank you, guys. Peace.